John D. Rockefeller Jr.'s early backing of the League of Nations in the 1920s demonstrated the Rockefeller family's commitment to international peaceful cooperation.
An activist on the flotilla said the engine of the Irish flagship was damaged. Earlier this week, activists said Israel sabotaged a Swedish ship in the Greek port of Piraeus. The propeller axle of the ship was reportedly cut. Now, the 8th flotilla consists of 10 ships and is going to sail for Gaza this week. It's unclear, though, if the damaged boats will delay the trip. Last year, Israeli commandos attacked the ship carrying aid for Gaza in international waters, as a result killing 9 Turkish activists on board. Gaza has been under Israel's all-out siege since 2007.
Sayanim are basically Jews who are affiliated with Zionism, like most Jews around the world are, the vast majority of Jews, and they assist Mossad. They are basically Sayanim, are assistances.
أشد على أياديكم وأبوس الأرض تحت نعالكم وأقول أفديكم وأهديكم ضياع عيني ودفء القلب أعطيكم وأهديكم ضياع عيني ودفء القلب أعطيكم فمأساتي.
Separately, passengers on the U.S. flagship Audacity of Hope have gone on hunger strike. This to protest the departure ban and the arrest of the vessel's captain. John Klusmeyer was taken into custody on Friday for trying to cast off for Gaza without permission. He is set to appear before a court on Tuesday. Meanwhile, a demonstration has also been held outside the Greek embassy in the Egyptian capital. Protesters in Cairo are urging Athens to lift the ban on the flotilla's departure. Let's find out more about the fate of this flotilla. We have Dr. Paul Larudi, who's a co-founder of the Free Palestine movement, joining us from Greece's capital, Athens. Well, just curious why the Greek government is not allowing the departure of the flotilla.
The Greek government, as we know, is preventing the boats from leaving, and they have said it's at the request of the U.S. government and the Israeli government. So I think it's clear where the instructions are coming from.
Okay, well, let's find out what reasons. I mean, we know last year Greece allowed the flotilla, as you're well aware, to dock there. It allowed it to then leave. Why is it this year? What reasons are being given? As you said, there are influences, whether it's from the U.S., Israel, and both, but legally, do they have a right to do this?
We're not certain about this. There are members of the Greek parliament and legal experts, lawyers, who say they do not have the right to do this. We suspect that this is a delaying tactic, so that even if it is determined in the court that it's not legal, then by the time this ruling is made, it's too late.
Ultimately,
so
what
it's
is
probably a tactic of this kind?
Ultimately, what are people like you doing, and maybe more importantly, the organizers doing, in order to make this situation obviously turn out to be a success in terms of, well, setting sail off to Gaza, or is that right now a distant thought?
To some extent. I can't tell you what we're going to do because it has to be a surprise in order to be effective. However, there are several types of resistance actions that have taken place. You already know what the U.S. boat has tried to do, and the French boat also has encountered the same situation. The Canadian boat has had its papers removed. All of them did some kind of resistance, and that is part of what's being done. In addition, there is a vigil at the U.S. Embassy in Athens. I just came from there about 2 hours ago. And so there are actions to try to mobilize the Greek population. I would have to say more than 90% of whom are very supportive of Palestinian rights.
Dr. Laverty, before I let you go, there's 22 countries involved. Why aren't they doing anything? We've heard the stance from the United States in terms of how they are looking at this flotilla, but in terms of any pressure, any reports from any countries putting pressure on the Greek government?
Well, when we speak of countries, of course, we have to distinguish between the governments of countries and the people in the countries. And although, and we have to remember that all of these 22 efforts are civilian efforts. None of them is sponsored by any government. And in fact, in most cases, the government oppose and actively make it difficult for us to proceed. So this is the people who are doing what they can to do what governments have failed to do for 64 years.